Hey everyone, it's Ethan. I hope you have had a good week. I want to share a few thoughts for you as part of my inviting you to be here and join us for worship on this Sunday. Last Sunday I started a new 4-week sermon series, and the title of the series is That Life Isn't What We Thought. And my sermon last week was called Letting Go. And we're going through Philippians chapter 3, and the text last week, the main idea was that as believers we put no confidence in our flesh. In other words, and we live in dependence upon Christ and what that means, rather than the confidence being in our own strength and our own wisdom. If you missed that, I know with spring break and everything, a lot of you guys are out of town. It's online right here on my blog, or you can get it on the sermons tab of the church website. But I do encourage you to give it a listen. Sunday, the title of my sermon is A Surpassing Greatness. And it's the next section of text right there in Philippians 3. Where Paul says that there is a surpassing greatness in this life, but it has nothing to do with our circumstances. Rather, it is of Christ. In fact, Paul talks about, he says, I want to know Christ. I want to know Christ, the power of his resurrection. And everything else I consider as rubbish. Everything else can be garbage, so that I may have Christ, that I may gain Christ and be found in him. It's all about him. But that's not an impractical thing. In fact, this comes alive. It takes on meaning in the reality of everyday life. You know, our Friday morning men's group down in Eagle, we just started a book by Erwin McManus called The Barbarian Way. And I want to just read you a quote out of it because it gets to this. This is what McManus says. He says, the invitation of Jesus is a revolutionary call to fight for the heart of humanity. We are called to an unconventional war using only the weapons of faith, of hope, and of love. Nevertheless, this is a war no less dangerous than any war ever fought. And here's the point. He says, and for those of us who embrace the cause of Christ, right, who enter into the heart of Christ, the cause to participate in the mission of God is nothing less than everything we are and everything that we have. Guys, Jim Elliot, the famous missionary, he put it this way. He is no fool who gives up what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. Because again, the thing is that this exchange that Christ calls us to is we're not just losing everything, right? Being willing to say, Lord, I'm willing to give everything that I may know you. The exchange is that we gain God himself. We gain the heart of God himself. And that this reality is not just some religious system or some spiritual fantasy, right? It is the reality of Christ as our life in the daily reality of life. So we're going to be unpacking this on Sunday, and I just want to challenge you. I'm going to be getting a little more bold, and to myself, not just you. But you know, Nikki's been talking about our Vacation Bible School. You hear her saying we need volunteers for our children's ministry, our youth ministry, and all this. And we're not just trying to beat people over the head, but friends, really, Christ, the life that Christ will call us into, if we dare go there, is sacrificial. And so I'm going to start to challenge us when we ask ourselves, are we able to come alongside Nikki or Jason to make an eternal difference, perhaps, in the lives of these children that God brings to us? That you not just ask, does this work with my schedule as I now know it? But is God calling me to make a sacrifice, to be a part of the kingdom ministry at Trinity that he calls us to be a part of? But it's not just about what's happening here at Trinity, right? It's our own lives and everything that we do. But guys, that's the life of purpose and joy and hope, of a surpassing greatness that God calls us into. So I invite you to be here Sunday. I hope you are. Look forward to seeing you then. Have a great weekend.